Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Another episode going into news and prophecy where we link the things happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures. As the scripture said in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, all of the visions in the Holy Scriptures were written and recorded so that in the latter days he may run that readeth it. And that speaks to the prophets, all right, who would ultimately receive inspiration from on high in the form of the Holy Spirit, Rachakodash, or Spirit Holy. And it would comfort us and give us understanding and the ability to go through the volume of the book and ultimately spiritually discern the times and link these things up, which is ultimately a gift that is not of us, but it's of the Heavenly Father, you see. And this would be under the blood of Yahweh Shai, the point of our victory as the fugitive is being identified through this testimony. All right. So in today's episode, of course, we're going to continue on the path of exposing this M0tb system, which a lot of people are seeing it. But as you can see here on this video, he says the mark of the beast chip is here. Antichrist is coming. So when you deal with these people of the world, all right, it's good that, there's a spirit on them to see these things and expose it. But ultimately, the fugitive is not identified through their talking point. All right, through their testimony, the fugitive, okay, is able to still wiggle away, because what a lot of people do is they'll say, well, it's the bankers, it's the Pope, it's the Catholic Church, it's the elites. And we use some of those terms, right? But we know at the forefront of this great rebellion against, all right, the Most High God and against his only begotten Son and against us as the chosen people of the Heavenly Father starts with the Edomites. All right. Those are the ones who control the bank. Those are the ones who control your food. All right. And these are the ones who are at the forefront of this evil, satanic world we live in. Okay. And the other heathen nations join unto them. So we'll get to this video, but through our gospel. All right. You see, it's easy to just say the Antichrist. Well, there's many Antichrist or any anti-messiahs, which is a spirit that's against the Son of the Most High. All right. And this whole system that we're seeing being implemented, which is ran by a small group of elites, okay, who in these latter days, they're going to, it's all going to be broken up. But it's beyond, this one mythical Antichrist that these people talk about, which we'll get into this video. But I also wanted to get into this video here as well. As we know, on the December the 24th, so-called Christmas Eve, the Pope, boasted in opening some portals, and we're going to tap into that because we can't ignore the fact that from that point going forward, all right, a spirit of chaos, a spirit of rebellion, and Esau, Edom is getting closer, to that miracle of the M0tb ultimately being spread in the world. Okay. And all of these things are associated, all right, with the spiritual leaders of this NWO. Okay, the modern day Chaldeans calling on Satan, invoking enchantments, and putting the spirit of absolute anarchy in the earth as a means to achieve their plans. Okay, so what I want to start with here is the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Okay, because, a lot of our people are, starting to use their podcast platforms to try to talk to the Israelites and talk about the Bible. And one thing that the majority of our people who hear this gospel, cry about is the fact that it's, and exclusive, to the Israelites. They don't like that. Our people are the only people on the planet Earth who, are ashamed of being special. Everybody wants to be special, but when it comes to our people being special, they rebel against it. When it comes to them acknowledging an enemy, okay, they don't want to. They want to run from it. They want to run from the responsibility of being special and chosen. They want to run from the fact that they're living in a system where their enemies rule over them. But they get these podcast mics and they want to call out, the women, the system, feminism, and all of these things, which are issues. But who's at the forefront of these issues, right? Well, this gospel identifies that. So this is not just another podcast or just another, uncouth, angry black man who finally, figured out, to do push-ups and, use cologne and, man up to a degree, which all of those things are good. The red pill movement, fulfilled what it had to fulfill. But ultimately, it's time to get to the source of this thing, the end all be all, the solution to the problems of the planet Earth. And that can only come through the gospel of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, as in these latter days, the elect of Judah and Ephraim, southern and northern kingdom, will be united, man. And through this gospel, okay, all of these issues are identified. The people who are at the forefront are identified, and ultimately the solution is given. Okay? Keep thou not silent, Psalms 83:1. O my power, hold not thy peace. Be not still, O my power. And this is what we're calling on the Lord to do. Like, stop this madness, man. I woke up today just irritated, angry, frustrated, right? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Okay, so the people who rule this whole entire setup hate Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, yet we're being, targeted as the most hateful people on the planet Earth, which the scriptures tell you there's a time for hate. The scriptures tell you to hate evil. Now, you're not supposed to take that mindset and go out and use it as a means to harm others or to establish your own judgment. But we hate this place. And we hate the people that are at the forefront of rulership, man. Anyone that'll put red dye in your food knowing that it's going to give you cancer and then 50 plus years later ban it, you're the devil. We'll get into those things in another episode, but this man is the devil, man. Okay, this system is ran by people who hate Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, and hate us. And they're taking crafty counsel against our people. And here it is, all of the so-called conspiracy theories that have been thrown out and mocked over the years are now true. It's no denying. In the mass majority of the people here in America that are talking about, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're the result of a psychological operation, man, that weaponized that word conspiracy. All right, which technically all it means is two or more people coming together to do evil, to plot an evil plan. You even got certain Israelites, cause that conspiracy theory, man. Well, the Bible, this is a conspiracy right here that we're reading about. Okay? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name Yashar or Israel may be no more in remembrance. That's what this whole system is preparing to do. Okay, when you see the talking point of, artificial intelligence, the M0tb, merging man with machine, that's them boasting in the fact that they're going to create an upgraded human to do away with the nations the Heavenly Father created so that he, all right, could rewrite the will of the Lord, man. They have consulted together with one consent, and all of these nations are down. See, because all of them know who we are. They have consulted together with one consent. This is your one world order right here in the Bible, which is a conspiracy. They're conspiring. Okay? They are confederate against thee. See, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Okay? And when you see the different organizations, all right, that are now preparing to take over ruling and to be your government, okay, it should be clear what the agenda is. And we bring these things out. Okay, we bring these things out. You see that serpent on the pole, that old serpent, okay, is getting ready to come down hard on the people. Okay? And we know from 2020 going forward marked, all right, the beginning point of this agenda, man. Okay? The World Economic Forum. All right, the W to the ISH to the ISO. This is the NWO agenda. And Esau Edom is at the forefront of it. As they're boasting, right, lifting up their head, 41% of companies will soon replace human workers with AI. This is a boasting, and we'll get to that. But this is an aspect of what we see happening. Okay? Let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And the beauty of it is the Lord is going to break up this confederacy. That's spoken about in the book of Obadiah, man. Okay, all the men of thy confederacy, they're going to turn against you. Okay? Because you have to understand the Lord is in control. Okay? So who are the nations that are at the forefront? Who are the enemies of the Lord? The enemies that want to cut you off from being a nation. Here it is. They want to cut you off from being a nation. But as soon as you hear the gospel, your first, all right, statement is, well, what if they love you? What if a white man loved you? It's never an African. There's never a Chinese man. What about the white man? Well, the elites of Esau Edom in these different nations are preparing to cut your ass off from being a nation, man. Okay, their plan is that your ass starve and eat that podcast mic. Because I was just watching a video that the elder Arianaza did, where you have these, these podcasts now, they want to take on, bringing on the Israelites and talk about the Bible. And all that these dudes are going to say is everybody can be saved. Our people, the men of our nation have got to be the most softest, bitch-made, all right, men of all of the men on the planet Earth, man. You're 2/3 of our men. The nations, man. The Jesus Christ. It's a sick spirit to be in. Your nation is at the very bottom. The Heavenly Father sends you prophets to tell you the truth of the matter, why you're in this condition. You're the special people, the Heavenly Father. And the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, what about the white man? Well, here in the scriptures, the gospel addresses the white man. And it's not just your average everyday white man walking around. Yeah, those are Edomites too. And you got Edomites that look like our people as well. But it's more so the elites, the people who rule this setup. Okay? They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, that's who it starts with. The Ishmaelites, the Moabites, the Hagarenes, the Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, which are Edomites as well. Okay? The Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre. Okay? They all join together, man. Okay? And as we could see, okay, getting into this video here, right? Something is happening in the planet Earth, man. We're in a very evil, dark, demonic time. Okay? Because associated with their miracles, to bring forth this M0tb system and upgrade man and merge him with machine, heavy enchantments will go out. I want to get into this video, and then I'm going to get a few other videos and some scriptures, and we'll close it out. But I want to revisit this Pope opening this so-called portal, all right, during a ritual as CERN announces they have discovered real magic. Okay, the modern day Chaldeans, which are the witches and warlocks that really rule everything, all right, are at work.
Welcome everyone to the Hurting Humanity channel. The Pope opened the Vatican holy door, the spiritual portals, launching Christmas rituals on Christmas Eve. I covered this a few weeks ago.
So from Christmas Eve till now, can you not see the result of the enchantments that they're throwing up?
When the Vatican was announcing that they were going to be opening 5 portals, what they're calling 5 sacred portals, which included the tomb at St. Peter's Basilica, which happens to have a tomb underneath the altar called Lucifer. Now, if you haven't seen in the past, the Vatican, the god of the Vatican, the god that the Vatican worships is Lucifer. For those of you who haven't seen some of the ceremonies in the past where they were chanting out to Lucifer, calling Lucifer God.
Yeah, these are a bunch of Satanists, man. And then the scriptures say, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" Okay, which is another stronghold that we had to tear down, because Lucifer is only mentioned one time in the scriptures, but the Hebrew word Hayallah, it just means what? The enlightened ones, the ones who bear the light. And this is ultimately what they're boasting in, that they have the true light and that their God is ultimately going to bring salvation to the world through what? Their science, their miracles, their left hand means, okay, which is antagonistic and anti-Messiah, okay? And it's not just one anti-Messiah, they're all anti-Messiah, okay? It's a spirit, you see? So Lucifer speaks to the illuminated ones. All right, they call themselves the Illuminati because they are basically saying they have the light through their God. Okay, remember the serpent in the garden, okay, which they have that logo everywhere. Okay, he knew that there was a God, right? But he lived by the mindset that you don't have to live by his means, and that there's another path to immortality than what he's offered you. You don't have to be subject to his bondage, to his rules. As also when we read the book of Psalms, the 2nd chapter, because the heathen are definitely raging, man. Okay. Psalms chapter 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast their cords away from us. Okay, NLT. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. And that was the serpent's, that's what he presented to Eve, to basically a way to free yourself from slavery to God. And see, within our gospel is a judgment written for them, and they're trying to do everything they can to rewrite that. Okay, they're trying to do away with the Heavenly Father's plan by what? Setting up their own Godhead on the planet Earth. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision. This is sick.
That is the God that they actually worship. And these 5 sacred portals being opened at the Vatican coincides with this story from CERN. Because within the last week, scientists discovered magic at the Large Hadron Collider. For those of you that don't know what they're trying to do at CERN, they talk about opening up a black hole, creating enough energy to open up a black hole, and then it's explained to us that it's something to do with science that we don't understand, but they need to find out the understanding of the universe. And all this has to do with is opening portals, opening dimensions, bringing over what's behind the veil. So it's not a coincidence that the Pope opened 5 specific portals while CERN discovered magic at the Large Hadron Collider. And I'll get into what they're talking about at CERN momentarily, because the discovery of magic that they're speaking of has to do with quantum computing. And if you start connecting the dots with some of the things I've shown you over the last couple of years with quantum computing, discussing these little chips, describing them as little people, as little demons, you'll start to understand that this stuff with technology, with quantum computing, with the things they call science at CERN, all has to do with demonic entities being summoned forth. Of course, this has to do with energy harvesting. Harvesting energy. Energy is really the core of witchcraft. They energy harvest and then they cast out spells which achieve desired outcomes through rituals and other practices that these witches and Satanists practice and believe. So let's go to the Vatican first. The Pope was seen coming in a wheelchair. He's getting wheeled in. It was very creepy. It was creepily filmed the way that the Vatican had this thing set up. The Pope looks like he's quadrupled in size. I guess he's not eating the bugs over there in Vatican City. He's getting plenty of, well, I'm sure plenty of flesh. But if you didn't know, the 5 places, the 5 portals are being opened. This was discovered by many people out there. If you pinpoint them on a map and you cross between which portal is being opened at which time, right? And you go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, it actually makes this symbol. And if you don't know what this symbol looks like or is, this right here is the sigil of Lucifer, which some also call the seal of Satan. I've broken this symbol down before. You can see a lot of Satanists, for example, like Marilyn Manson, who have this symbol tattooed directly on their bodies. Manson has it tattooed right on his hand. And what is Manson known for? Well, Manson's known for worshiping Lucifer, is he not? And speaking of Lucifer, if you recall when I covered the breakdown of these 5 portals, if you go to the website, St. Peter's Basilica Info, you'll see the map of the Vatican necropolis, which is where one of the portals was open, and you could go through the areas in the necropolis, and area U is actually called Lucifer. And if you look at the map, it's directly underneath the altar inside of that basilica.
So this is a left-hand priesthood. Okay, so the enchantments that they're throwing up coincide with the M0tb system being set up, as we're going to show you. And you heard he said quantum physics. Remember that. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. All right. Which ultimately the dragon speaks to, all right, America, Babylon the Great, the modern day Rome. Okay. And out of the mouth of the beast, this beast system. Okay. And out of the mouth of the false prophet. Okay. Now this could also speak to, their military system, their banking system, all right, and their religious system, which the religious system speaks to the Vatican, okay, the false prophet, okay, which ultimately is a Babylonian, okay, church, okay. They bring back all of the ancient deities going back, all right, even to the garden. But we know after the flood, all of that, all of those philosophies and things were continued, all right, through the Hamites, through the Cushites, through Nimrod, who had the Tower of Babel. That's where you get the term Babylon, confusion. See, and this is why this is called Babylon the Great, okay, the mother of all harlots. Okay, so all of these different systems are coinciding, okay, throwing up these enchantments to get their plan, okay, they're what they're conspiring to do, all right, into fruition. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and to the whole world, because all of the different nations on the planet Earth have to get down with this system. Okay, but they need war, and it's going to lead to war. You see? So before, all right, Armageddon breaks out, there's going to be a wicked demonic spirit pushed out there, all right, and it's going to be attached to miracles, right? And it's going to be attached to the very thing John the Revelator saw in Revelation, the 13th chapter. To get these miracles to come to pass, they're calling on their gods openly. See? So they are spirits of devils working miracles, all right, magic, okay, which go forth to the kings of the earth and to the whole world, all right, for this one world order, to gather them to the battle of the great day of the God Almighty. So it's going to lead to war, all right, blessed, all right. It says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So we're living in this time right here, all right, where these Satanists, Okay, the men of sin. Okay, because again, we cannot deny from the point that they did this ritual till now, it's already January 16th. Look how much time has passed like that. But look how much is happening. All of these things happening, all of these enchantments, all of the fire, all of it has to do, all right, with what the Pope did on December the 24th, which we only see a small portion of what they did. Okay, they show you something to make you believe it's innocent and all. They're just opening door. No, there's a lot going on, man.
And if you recall, the seal inside of that basilica, inside of St. Peter's Basilica, is the coat of arms of the Barberini family, and it contains 3 bees directly on that crest. You can see them directly in the center of the crest. Now, why 3 bees? Well, this is how they operate, right? Bees use hexagons to build honeycombs, okay? Hexagons equal the number 6. And of course, in Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So while all of this stuff is happening at the Vatican, which people are becoming a little bit more suspicious of as the years go by, that clip from 2014 of them chanting out Lucifer is God, since then, we've seen a lot of different bizarre things with the Vatican, how they align with the LGBT and some of the things with artificial intelligence now that the Vatican is lining up with. The Vatican even recently talking about how they were going to be the voice of any type of extraterrestrial event in the sky. It's going to come through the Vatican. They're going to discern whether it was an act of God or it was extraterrestrial. Of course, this is setting up for Project Bluebeam perfectly and some type of deception to occur in the sky. And then since then, things like this, where they're talking about opening these doors and they're actually calling them portals. People are starting to look around and say, what in the world are they talking about? That sigil of Lucifer lining up directly with the 5 coordinates of the portals being open, and it makes the sigil of Lucifer, the seal of Satan, and of course having that tomb underneath the Vatican. Now, while this stuff is happening, all things portal related, all things with energy harvesting related, we could go back and look at CERN. Again, over the years, how many things have we seen CERN do, which have to do with what we would look at as occult worship, right? We've seen the stuff with CERN and the Mandela effect over the years, right? Where they have a commercial out and they're even holding up a sign saying Mandela effect, where people believe that CERN is doing things to manipulate time. Well, in addition to those things with CERN, we've seen them do mock sacrifice rituals right outside of CERN. And we've also seen CERN put out very bizarre videos where they tell you, well, this is what we're doing at CERN, which I'll show you again in a minute for anyone out there who hasn't seen it, where they're literally showing you that they're summoning entities. But what they tried to do is say that this is science, you're too dumb to understand, so stop asking questions and just take us at our word. We're doing things scientifically and you don't get it. Kind of like they told you to put poison in your body. And anybody out there that questioned it, they called you dumb, they called you stupid. They said, don't listen to those people. Listen to us. And of course, who was right and who was wrong about what you should and shouldn't do. Because these people aren't really scientists. They're sorcerers. They're magicians. And they use alchemy and science to confuse you into thinking that they're doing things for the betterment of you and betterment of health. And they're not. So this happens at the same exact time. Twin brothers find magic in quarks at Large Hadron Collider. So there's that word magic. You know that word magic that you've been indoctrinated with? You hear, oh, when I met this girl, it was like magic, right? This magic moment. Disney magic. Enjoy the Magic Kingdom. Magic is pretty much everywhere, yet people don't believe that magic actually exists. They've been trained.
Yeah, and when you deal with the serpent, all right, in the garden, the word serpent points to a magician, one who practices these particular arts. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field. Now, is a snake a serpent, or is a snake a beast? So this is symbolism, all right, of a particular man or nation of people on the earth at that time, all right, who brought a particular philosophy, that forbidden fruit that we tell you about, okay? And the root word of this Hebrew word, nachash, okay, as you can see here, it leads to a diviner, okay, divination, fortune telling, signs, omens, divination, all right, but you also hear those who whisper magic spells, all right, and we'll tie it all in just a minute. Let's listen to a little bit more of this guy.
trained to think it doesn't exist. And that's how all of these witches and Satanists have been protected over the years. They convince you that magic's not real while they're actually spell casting on you and using mind control tactics on you to make you think that people like us are insane, even though throughout history, witches have existed. We've heard of witch trials and witch hunts, yet they don't want you to believe that witches actually exist and that magic is real. They want you to think that it's fiction. And that's why they do these things where they put out satanic panic government propaganda to convince you that it's all crazy. They put things out when people like us are talking about gateways into the occult, things like Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering. They want you to think it's just fun and games, yet they're teaching people how to be practitioners in magic by just doing basic things in magic, right? Thinking it into existence, energy harvesting. These are things that they're doing every single day to people and they don't even realize it because they're actually under a spell. So these twin brothers find, quote, magic at the Large Hadron Collider. And if you read what it says a brotherly research duo has discovered when the Large Hadron Collider produces top quarks, the heaviest known fundamental particles, it regularly creates a property known as magic. The finding, published in Physics Review D, has implications from the progression of quantum computing, with magic being a measure that describes how difficult a quantum system is for a non-quantum computer to calculate. So that might just sound like all gibberish too. So let me just clarify what it's saying there. Okay? It's talking about magic where it says it regularly creates a property known as magic. So is that just sometimes, are they just using that word loosely? Or they just say, well, it's like magic because, you know, it's magic, right? And you're supposed to just dismiss that. And then when they go into quantum computing, they don't expect you to understand what quantum computing is. And they go on to say, well, quantum computing in the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, quote, the higher the magic, the more we need quantum computers to describe the behavior, explains Professor Martin White from the University School of Physics, Chemistry, and Earth Sciences, which co-led the study with his twin brother, Chris White, a physicist from Queen Mary University of London. Quote, studying the magic properties of quantum systems generates significant insights into development and potential uses of quantum computers. So I expect 10 out of 10 people, when they hear that, to have no idea what they're hearing about. They're like, okay, I have a computer at my home. Okay, is my iPad a computer? Is my phone a computer? Okay, so what is a quantum computer? Well, it's a computer that operates at a significantly different speed than a regular computer. And quantum computing is going to be used, believe it or not, to operate all systems in the future. When you hear quantum computing, let me break this down to you. You hear everything at CERN, right? Let me put this in to make it as simple as possible. There are movies and shows and all these things that I guarantee the majority of you have heard of or seen, where they openly talk about things like Hadron Colliders. You just don't know it, right? For example, Stranger Things, a Hadron Collider is the exact machine that they show you that is opening up that window into the upside down, right? CERN is literally opening up a black hole. This black hole will enable them to summon forth demonic entities. They are using energy to do it. So I'm going to play for you CERN, where you can see CERN's rituals being done out in the open. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to what they're saying in regards to the upside down. And then pay close attention to what quantum computing is and connect the dots between CERN and quantum computing and summoning the demon.
A proton has virtually no mass. To the places where your best minds explore reality. Every civilization ends in chaos. There will eventually be a cataclysm from which we cannot recover. Our planet will be ripped in half.
Well, basically, there are parallel universes, infinite variations of it.
Like the Wheel of Shadows.
And the tightrope is our dimension, and our dimension has rules. You can move forwards or backwards. Flea can also travel this way.
Upside down.
Exactly.
Is there any way for the acrobat to get to the upside down?
You'd have to create a massive amount of energy, open up some kind of tear in time and space. You create a doorway, like a gate. It might even swallow us up whole.
Now, have you heard of the Garrow Research Facility?
Long Island, the particle accelerator?
Yeah.
It actually splits the proton of the atom.
Well, you know more than I do.
Well, it's a 14-mile loop that accelerates electrons and protons close to the speed of light.
Local parishes in Ryland are protesting. The particle accelerator will open the gates of hell.
So the scientists, they want us to prove they're not opening the gates of hell.
Was that something that was filmed down in the particle accelerator?
Satan, help us open this portal. We need to deliver this sacrifice to you.
The Vatican is asking you to investigate and write up a report.
It's a prank, right?
Well, I don't know. That's your job.
You see, they put this stuff in the movies.
They make that video, Doctor. We're in a friendly competition with CERN, particle accelerator in Switzerland. They did a similar video making fun of the satanic panic about their opening. So what can we do to convince you we are not saint worshippers?
I mean, it's just the name that the night ship calls it. B-33. The proton collider? They broke through something. There's something there. Something under the concrete. A creature. They dragged that woman into it.
That's where the beams converge.
Oh, let me say
Beams are accelerated around a loop of 13,000 revolutions per second.
any concern about uncontrollable black holes.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
As you heard, pretty much Elon letting you know that they're summoning demons. All right. Everything that they're doing is associated with the summoning of demons and calling on Satan, opening, alternate universes. They're doing all that they can. This is why the scriptures say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. All right. And what they're trying to tap into is absolutely crazy. It's madness. And it has everything to do with what John the Revelator saw here in Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right. As this beast system reaches its end, which it is the revival of Rome, started with the Greeks, got their power seat through the Romans. We know that the Western Roman Empire fell. All right. And through the Renaissance period, it was rebirthed into the earth. And pretty much as you read this chapter, it goes into the very end of this beast system. All right. And its revival, with America being the powerhouse. Okay. America is the revival of Rome and would have two horns like a lamb, speak as a dragon. We're witnessing all of these things. But at the very end, they would bring about a system of enslavement that will require everyone to receive a mark, all right, in their right hand or in their forehands. All right. Now, at the very end of this plan, which we always go into it, but the NLT, I read it, Revelation 13 and 18, it says, wisdom is needed here. Let one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, which is the man of sin. Okay, who would a way to identify him. All right, as you read here in Revelation 13 and 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles. And we're witnessing a big part of that deception now, as they're presenting the very miracle of making the lame to, be able to walk, the blind be able to see. All right, that's an aspect of their miracles. As a matter of fact, let's bring this out before we get into that.
Well, after completing 2 successful clinical trials in the U.S., Elon Musk's Neuralink has secured Health Canada's approval to kick off its first international study. Recruitment for the trial has now started in Canada. Dr. Andres Lozano is the neurosurgeon leading the trials in this country, and he joins me now. Dr. Lozano, thank you so much for joining me today. Walk me through, first of all, how all of this works. I mean, this is pretty incredible, this implant that's being put in the brain.
Well, we are interested in helping patients who are paralyzed as a consequence of a spinal cord injury or ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So these are people that cannot move their arms or legs,
right,
but yet their brain works perfectly well, and the areas of the brain to control movements are working perfectly well. So because they can't use their muscles because of the spinal cord injury, what we're going to do is we're going to take the signals from the brain and use those signals to move a cursor. So we're going to bypass the injury and decode the signals that they are generating, and we'll be able to let them use a cursor, to move a cursor on the screen, to click, to play a video game, to activate a device, to move a robot, etc. So it's really quite exciting to be able to harness these signals that are not being used by these patients because of their injury, and to then give them a voice.
Are there risks involved with all of this? I mean, you are putting a foreign item into one's body, let alone into the brain.
So the types of patients we're seeing are extremely disabled. They are paralyzed. Some of them can only move their eyes and mouth, so they can have no movement in their shoulders or below.
So as you can see, this is a part of the deception, as they're presenting this as a means to save, to help Synonymously, he's calling on his gods. He's boasting and opening portals. All right, allowing all kind of spirits to come into the earth to create all of this chaos. All right, and really his plan, all right, as he's throwing up these enchantments. That's why it says here in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter and the 12th verse, it says, "Stand now with thine enchantments." And this is speaking to the virgin daughter of Babylon, which would be involved with enchantments, stargazers, prognosticators, astrologers. See? "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou may prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels." And this is an aspect of their counsels, man. And there's so much more going on. This is why we're living in perilous times, man. This is why we have to be heightened in the spirit, not too tied to the comforts of this world and this life, because things are absolutely chaotic, and it will only get greater. And you all don't think that we're going to face any kind of trouble during the midst of this all? Okay. Now, of course, the bottom line is that Esau, Edom loses, but before he falls, he's going to come down with great wrath upon the people of the planet Earth. Okay. "Let now thy astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from the things which shall come upon thee." And that's ultimately what this is centered around. Okay, them try to ultimately get around what's written in the volume of the book. You see, they're trying to recreate the will, so to speak. You see, and this is where when you deal with chi-psi stigma, all right, as it says here in Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 18th verse, it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So that's that 666. Okay. Which, you know, the symbolism is all over. You see what I'm saying? Wisdom is needed here. Let one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast. And we always go into the chi-psi stigma. Okay. Chi being the first three letters in Christ or anointed. But as you can see, it's an X. You have Xi, okay, which, again, we always go into, okay, Xi, which we always see, you know, these three lines. Esau, Edom is definitely using that symbolism, okay. It's all over the place, which the Xi is synonymous with the Hebrew letter Samek, all right, which is ultimately a sign, all right, when you go into it, a signal. Now that looks like a tower when you look at the letter. It looks like a when you look at it, it looks like a electric grid or a tower. Okay, but as you can see, it's associated with support. Okay, to support, to help, all right, and so forth. Now, Xi also, when you go into it, is used in physics. It's used in physics. Okay, and we don't have to get too deep into that, but physics and astronomy. It's also used in physics and astronomy. Okay, so this this stuff we're witnessing with, okay, and we'll get back to this one, but this stuff we're witnessing with the Pope, all right, opening these portals and CERN and, you know, the talk of quantum physics and this and that, although it's confusing, all right, in the grand scheme of things, it speaks to everything John the Revelator saw. That's how we know it's deeper than buying and selling. The buying and selling aspect of the M0tb is for, you know, the purpose of drawing everyone into this system. All right. Because people need to buy and sell in order to live. All right, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not only are they creating a new form of human, they're creating a new reality on Earth. Okay, an alternate reality.
But they're telling you that, well, what we're doing here needs to happen, right? That's part of universal law. It's getting revealed to us what's happening. You just have to pay attention to it. You have to feel not intimidated by how they try to make you feel, which is they try to make you feel dumb, right? What did they just do with the outbreak? They tried to make everybody feel dumb who was researching for themselves, telling you don't do your own research. Anyone out there that speaks against us, they're dumb. They don't know, right? And of course, people like me and you, the people who listen to my channel, we knew exactly what they were doing and laughed it off and dismissed it. But you know how many people got duped into getting that because they felt stupid, and then they felt like, well, these people are scientists. They know. I don't want to be sick and die. They tell me I'm going to die. I better go and get it. And they do the same stuff at CERN. They tell you that this stuff is now just to do with, literally, they're saying we've discovered magic, right? And they expect you to see that and be like, I don't know what that means. What, Disney magic? You know, what does that mean? This magic moment? I mean, magic, you know, Magic Mike? Is that what they've discovered? I don't know, right? And they just dismiss it and move on because they've been trained to think magic's not real. They're revealing it, what they're actually doing. And they reveal it and they show it to you through things like Stranger Things or that show Evil, where they're literally saying, hey, you know, what they're trying to do here is they're trying to bring, you know, they're doing these huge satanic rituals, and they're literally trying to bring things over from the other side, what's behind them. And then people just go, that's too much for me to take in, right? And same with the quantum computing. Tell them about the quantum computing, and they're like, I don't understand computers, yet they're on a computer pretty much 24 hours of the day, right? Can't go anywhere without their phone. Their heads will explode if they leave the house for 2 seconds without, right? Their whole life is dependent on the phone. Well, now they're talking about these quantum computers, and you're so into your phone, they expect you to just go, oh yeah, bring about the quantum computing. I don't care. I don't know what that is, right? Well, it's magic, right? And they tell you that with quantum computing, with the power that they're going to have from energy harvesting, what was Gordy Rose pretty much saying? He's saying this could wipe out the human race. And people are just like, yeah, well, they're just speaking in hypotheticals, right? No, these people are literally telling you, even Elon Musk, they're literally summoning the demon, as he said, and these things hate humans. They look at us like ants, and they're pretty much going to annihilate human beings. But since people don't believe in the spiritual element of this physical realm that we're in, they dismiss it. They're too distracted by their games and their phones and everything else. And I understand it is a lot to take in. It's a lot to take.
It is a lot to take in, all right? But when you stick to the simplicity in your Hawashai, you just go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right? And John the Revelator lays it out for you, okay? Chai, Psi, stigma. We know that the term stigma is, so we did Chai, Xi with Xi, okay? It really goes into their left-hand arts, their magic, you know, their science, okay? And the goal is to merge, all right, man with machine, all right? You know, you try to go deep into quantum physics, and it's a bit confusing, all right? But at the end of the day, we see all of these big tech companies and, you know, the likes of Elon Musk and, you know, all of these talking points of the future and, you know, what is going to, we clearly see it. Okay, how they're basically they're trying to set themselves up as God. Okay, even when you deal with this M0tb, right? Let's play a little bit of this. Okay.
It's like you can take your consciousness out of your brain and place it in a microchip. And then if you put the microchip inside a robot or any sort of cellular species, your soul is going to be transferred into that body. Honestly, guys, does this even sound familiar? If you're someone that has read Bible, then you will know that this is probably how the mark of the beast was mentioned. And there was also a guy who actually got the Neuralink implanted in his brain who appeared in Joe Rogan's podcast, and he revealed to us on what it actually feels like in order to have this implanted in your
homie is stoned. Look at him. God damn.
Body and what kind of changes it makes, and does it make you a superhuman or not? Just take a look at what this guy has to say.
I basically have an aimbot in my head.
So, wow.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, they'll probably have like different leagues for people like me because it's just not fair.
Wait, do you have a what? aimbot, like in the video games, like you can just aim and then it just locks onto the target. Like he can do that stuff.
Wow, is
That's
it that
crazy.
accurate? It's that accurate, and it's faster. One thing that I found with the Neuralink.
So basically, he's been upgraded. Okay, he the talking point around this, Neuralink is forming and merging man into gods. Okay, and this is the surface level of how they're presenting this technology. Okay.
Neuralink is something that kind of blew my mind too.
What is it?
When I'm attempting to do stuff sometimes, or I'm thinking it to like move in a certain place, sometimes it's so good that it's moving before I even like think it to move.
What? Like if you want your hand to move, it's like gonna move before you even think. So does that mean like his response time is super, super high?
It's almost like if you think about moving your hand, the signal is basically already being sent before you move your hand.
Oh my God.
Like your mind is saying, okay, he's about to move his hand basically. So the signal needs to be sent all the way down and back up in order for you to move your hand. So the speed that all of that happens, and it's almost a little preemptive. I saw that with...
Oh my God, dude, this is so freaking dangerous. So he's basically a superhuman. And it seems like it's going to eliminate this possibility of there's no such thing called as muscle memory. So it's basically like you train your own body for like entire year in order to do a certain task, and your muscles are going to develop something called as muscle memory. So most of the boxers and athletes, they kind of have a lot of these muscle memories done. Even gamers, sometimes, if you're sniping in a game, you just keep aiming, and as soon as the target comes in, you're just firing at the target in the right exact second. So it's something that you just develop using muscle memory. But then with the Neuralink, it seems like you're just an aimbot, man. Stuff just happens on its own, and you never even know it's going to be that quick. That's freaking insane. And a lot of people are saying that the mark of the beast is all about just having some chipset that's placed in your head or wrist and all that stuff. And this chip and all of this technology will be created by the guy named Antichrist that's described in the...
Well, it doesn't say it's going to be created by a guy named the Antichrist. It said the beast, all right, which the beast has to be identified, all right, by prophecy. Okay, when you deal with this beast system we read about in Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, it is the revival of the fourth beast, which is Rome. Okay, and the nation of people associated with ruling this modern day Rome are the Edomites, which this modern day Rome is described as Babylon the Great. And one of the things that the scripture said Babylon the Great had in it, or in her, was the souls of men. You see? And they will boast. And as a matter of fact, let's get this here. Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. Because this basically makes them God. This right here is some high level boasting, man. Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say to the prince of Tyrus, which the modern day prince of Tyrus is Esau, Edom. The prince of Tyrus at that time had waxed rich, through his witchcraft and his traffic and his ability to, manipulate money. Okay. It's an actual history tied to this particular ruler. But the modern day version of that, as that which is then is now, is Esau. Thus said the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up. And thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret they can hide from thee. And now with his AI, artificial intelligence, okay, he's able to predict the future. He's even able to upgrade humanity by miracles and left-hand means. Daniel was what? He was good with predicting the future. He was good at, deciphering dreams. Now they're talking about using their technology, okay, to transfer the dream of one person, all right, to another. As a matter of fact, you think we just making this stuff up? Okay, let's go here. Okay, according to current research, a technology that directly transfers dreams from between people is not yet available, but researchers, all right, have developed a device called Dormio, which allows some level of dream manipulation by tracking sleep stages and delivering audio cues during the hypnotic state, potentially influence the direction of a person's dreams. Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, I forget I did a video on it before. All right, but yeah, this Dormio system. All right, which again, this is boasting on the next level, man. That's why it says thou art wiser than Daniel, because of his technology. Okay, he's become ultimately, a god on earth via left-hand means and technology. Okay, he's able to, in his eyes, predict the future, and this is like a mocking to him as well, because as we read in Isaiah the 47th chapter, let's see if you're going to be able to use all of this witchcraft and all of this madness to get you out of what's coming for your ass. Because they know, according to the volume of the book, what's going to happen to them. You see? Let's go back here.
The Bible. Now, who is Antichrist? Apparently, he is the son of Satan that is currently living among us on earth, and he will be...
You see, this is why you people need to stop trying to go into the scriptures. Just say mark of the beast. The son of Satan is on earth. Now, the children of Satan, as we always read in 2 Thessalonians, he who's coming is after the working of Satan, okay, with all power and signs and lying wonders, okay? And what would he do? Okay, what will be his goal? Okay, so the end wouldn't come until this happened. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first, and we did fall away. Okay, from 70 AD, we were, the Jews were kicked out of, the land of Israel, Jerusalem, and so forth. All right, and eventually led to our captivities, and now we're here. See, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or power. He's exalting himself above Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, he wants you to worship him. He wants you to worship his science. He wants you to be impressed with his so-called creations and abilities above the Most Highs. And he's setting up a system to fight against the Son of the Most High, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, the scriptures let us know that the body is our temple. Okay? Now, he's literally, in, a portion of the Holy Land, which is likened to the temple, saying that, he's the chosen people, but he wants to be inside your temple. He wants to sit in your temple. He wants to put an idol in you, right? So that he can mark you as his territory. And that's what the M0tb is all about in the grand scheme of things. He's just a complicated demon. The word chai, when you go to chai psi stigma, we always bring this out. We brought out the chai and the zai, okay, which is deeper, but for the purpose of, keeping it simple. All right. Chai psi stigma. Stigma is a mark pricked or branded on the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or stamp of their master or commander, branded or prick cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token to their gods. Okay. All right. A recognition of ownership. All right. And this is why they need, the majority of the population to be gone. Because in order to, complete a plan like this, you can't have, all right, the billions of people that are on the planet Earth. This is why they are coming down with great wrath, all right, to complete this task. Okay. Again, from 2020 till now, all right, that marked the beginning stage of them establishing their NWO. and they don't have much time. So this is why it's getting more and more dangerous and more crazy.
Rising in power, and he becomes one of the most powerful people who will have the power to control all the world leaders and command them on what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And as of now, if you take a look at what Elon Musk has been doing, I think it should say a lot about the things that we're actually seeing as of now from his actions. It kind of just resembles a lot about what's mentioned about the Antichrist. But what's crazy is that Elon Musk just confirmed that he's planning.
And not once in Revelation, the 13th chapter, do you see Antichrist. You see beast. But see, you would have to know prophecy to understand this beast. Okay, and when you go to this chapter, okay, it tells you that the dragon, all right, Revelation 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, the Greeks, and the feet like unto a bear. How Russia's going to be at the end, the forefront of ending this beast system, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and seat and authority. Okay, and when you understand what dragon this is talking about, this is speaking of the red dragon, okay, that was talked about in the previous chapter, which speaks to the ancient Western Roman Empire, okay, which the Herodians got power, okay, through that beast, the fourth beast, okay, and got dominion over the land of Jerusalem, which was called Judea. Okay. And when Herod was in power, he tried to put our Messiah to death. Okay. So again, these people don't know what this is really talking about. They don't know how to link, which Elon Musk boasted at the beginning of sometime last year, the beginning of this year, that America is the revival of Rome. He understands that. Okay.
Planning on doing something absolutely crazy, something that we never thought was even possible with technology, where you can just remove your consciousness and put it into some sort of a chip and then move the chip into some other cellular species, and then you are going to exist in that species. What the hell is even going on? And now Elon Musk says that it is possible for our consciousness to be shifted because he has this new brain implant, chipset that he's working on, and it's just absolutely insane. I think you guys should take a look at how this whole thing basically works. Just take a look at how this whole thing
Neuralink
works.
starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin.
Oh my god, that feels so gross. I'm never gonna get such things done.
Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra-thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain.
Wow. And does this mean that you're going to get all the information about what I'm thinking?
This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real-life actions.
That's crazy. And this is what Elon Musk is working on. Would you ever get something like this? I don't know. Many people might think that it's cool and whatnot, but I don't know, man. A lot of people who are paralyzed, I think it also worked on them. They could actually design them to walk. And it's crazy. It works in a very positive way. And at the same time, this could also mean that, you're going to lose a lot of ability of your soul itself. I think in a recent podcast where Joe Rogan and Elon Musk met, they actually spoke about this whole stuff. I'll just show you guys a clip of what they actually spoke, and it's a very interesting topic right here.
If someone ultimately does get a Neuralink installed, what will take place?
So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there that has a battery and a Bluetooth and a conductor.
Wait, that has a battery. What is the battery fries? Does that mean your brain's fried?
Insert the electrodes. So the electrodes are very carefully inserted, avoiding and any veins or arteries. You stitch up the hole and.
Oh my god, that looks so freaking uncomfortable to look at.
You just have a little scar, and that's it. And
that's not a little scar, man. You literally have like a pipe thing coming out of your head.
And you know that somebody has it. It could, in principle, fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain. You could also save state.
Save state?
What do you mean save state? Like if you're depressed or like happy or whatever you are, you can like alter it?
Save state, like save your brain state, like a save game in a video game.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, you mean save your consciousness, basically. Your soul is going to be saved in it.
Whoa.
And restore that state into a biological being if you wanted to in the future. In principle, there's like nothing like from a physics standpoint that prevents this. But you'd be a little different, but then you're also a little different when you wake up in the morning from yesterday.
No, man, that's I don't think so. We're a little different when we wake up in the morning. But yeah, this is actually possible, guys. Things are happening. Bible is coming true, and all of the prophecies are coming true. I'm super scared. I'm never going to get this shit done. And in the interview, he said some crazy things that I think you guys should definitely take a look at this.
A teenager
look at this
had,
stuff.
An existential crisis to try to figure out what's the meaning of life. It doesn't seem to be any meaning. For
Just
me,
wondering for meaning of life.
Religious texts, and I read all of them that I get my hands on, did not seem convincing. then I started reading the philosophers, and I've been careful with like reading German philosophers as a teenager. It's definitely not going to help with your depression. So reading Schopenhauer and Nietzsche, like as an adult, it's much more manageable. But
So he apparently read all the religious texts, and he says that it's not convincing for him in order to find out what life is all about. So he's now on an adventure where he's going to find out what life is all about by just transferring people's soul in a chipset.
So then I was like, man, I'm just like struggling to find meaning in life here, and then
If you can't see that this is the man of sin and these people, this is a fulfillment of what the scriptures is talking about. Now, he understands that this is a fulfillment of what the scriptures are talking about on a level of, damn, okay, they're talking about putting brain chips in you. The Bible said, all right, marking your head and your forehead, but they don't really understand what's going on. You see the difference in the level of understanding from the true prophets of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and just someone who, you know, kind of looks and sees like, wow, this makes sense, which the Lord is doing that. The Lord is he's going to allow these people to see certain things and push this out, because eventually they're going to ban, you know, free speech, because in an infodemic, you know, us saying that this is the M0tb, all right, can be, you know, looked at as, you know, antagonistic to people being healed. So again, our talking points and everything that we're, because the Lord is going to have a whole bunch of people come to the conclusion that this is the M0tb and say, hell nah. So it's going to be a great rebellion, as this is going to be the means of identification as well in the future. Okay, so they're just throwing it around. You're starting to see it be talked about more. Now it's moving to Canada as this individual. And then you got the quantum chip. I was going to get into that. You know, how now in Canada it's being, you know, approved. Okay. You got Trump talking about Canada can be the 51st state of America. They're talking about all these unions. It's a lot happening in these times, man. Okay.
So they're a bit disabled. And then the surgery itself, though, is relatively straightforward and simple in the scheme of things. It is a neurosurgical procedure. We do have to open the skull, and we're implanting 1,000 electrode contacts in the brain.
Wow.
And this is done with a robot, a very sophisticated robot that acts somewhat like a sewing machine, and it's extremely precise and accurate, and we think safe. So the technology has advanced to the point where we think that we can implant 1,000 contacts in the brain, and we can listen to the activity of the neurons in the brain, and then we can take the signals of these neurons and use it for something useful.
Because you're dealing with signals, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and whatnot that's involved in all this, are there some concerns about something being able to tap into this technology or hack into it?
So indeed, these are signals that are being generated, and they have to be transmitted from the brain through a Bluetooth signal to a receiving device. So in theory, those signals could be...
So they're going to make you a, you know, like the barcode, you know? They're going to make you a something that can be connected to a grid, to a system. All right?
Hijacked, right, or could be hacked. And someone else could use those signals for something else. And then in the future, right now we're talking about reading the activity of the brain. But in the future, we're also going to be able to write into the brain. We're also going to be inputting information into the brain. So for example, someone who's blind, we might be able to use a video camera and use the signals from the video camera directly to input those into the brain, bypassing the injury.
This is insane. Listen to this. We got to get the hell up out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hell nah.
And the disease in the eyes, for example. So someone who's blind, we might be able to use those signals to put them into the brain. So there's a possibility, it's really going to be a two-way street, a two-way communication between machines and the brain. So we call it a brain-machine interface. So as there is a transfer of information either in or out of the brain, then there's a possibility for those signals to be hacked, if you like. So we have to be extra careful to make sure that the proper safety measures are in place.
You were just talking about, you know, being able to, eventually at some point, helping someone to be able to see, maybe even, you know, providing them with more independence. Overall, then, what are you hoping the end game could be with this type of technology, or is it almost endless?
Our end game is really to restore function. Okay. So if you have a disability, if you cannot move, if you cannot see, if you cannot speak, if you cannot hear, we think that we might be able to talk to the brain directly and let the brain do things that it would not otherwise be able to do. And we'll also be able to record from the brain and use those signals to use those signals for good use. So really what we're establishing is a communication in someone who's locked in, someone who's not able to communicate with the outside world, someone who may not be able to receive signals or use their brain to activate activities. What we're trying to do is to restore their function. So we think it has widespread implications. And right now we're talking about doing the third human being in the world. And the purpose really is to determine whether this is safe.
And would that be here in Canada?
And that'll be here.
And they've been doing this for years, man. It's just now getting out there because, you know, this is the time. The Lord, ultimately, the Lord is in control. Okay, and the man of sin is being revealed. Okay, and he wants to sit in your temple. Okay.
it's safe and whether it could be effective and whether it is justified to scale this up so that we can go from the initial 6 patients that we've been given permission to treat to a wider scale. Can we make this available to people from all over the world?
Number 6 again.
Disorders and disabilities.
And is it 6 patients here in Canada?
Yes.
You'll be focusing on? Before I let you go, I mean, this is
It's always that number 6 with these people, man.
incredible work. I guess the drive behind it. Talk to me a little bit about that. As it's not just you. I mean, as you mentioned, you and our conversations, there are hundreds of researchers that are involved in putting.
Now, the drive behind this is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Man's goings of the Lord. The scriptures say the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Okay, the Lord is using these people to fulfill this very attempt, this very system, man. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Okay, everybody has a role to play. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has their role, and the elites have this role to bring about this charagma. Okay, and it just so happened that this is it's being ultimately fulfilled at the time where enchantments and demonic activity is being heightened, because it all goes hand in hand. Okay. Isaiah 14:13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And the congregation, all right, which is the Israelites, and the sides of over here in the fourth part of the world, America, okay, where ultimately this Babel, this modern day Tower of Babel, is ultimately being headed out of. All right, the Babylon the Great. Okay, so we're in those times, man. All right, he's boasting as if he's getting ready to, you know, Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Okay. Proverbs 16:18, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So we're witnessing the height of pride. Okay. What they're boasting in, this is not no low level boasting, man.
Putting all of this together.
There's a huge team of engineers of decoding the signals, of making the electrodes of robots. So there's a huge team. This is a huge, it takes a village to do this. And really the excitement is that we've now reached the technological advances to be able to do this, we think, in a safe and effective way. And we think it's going to open a possibility. I think we have the potential of really helping many people that are disabled because of a neurologic disorder or an injury. So I think it's a very exciting.
Yep. So that's how it's being presented. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, all right, you're going to lose all of your freedoms, all of your rights, and you're going to be through. Okay. And again, the surveillance is eventually going to go internal. Things are going to get so bad that they're going to have to surveil people from the inward. And if you're not down with it, then you're an enemy of our system. In order for this new world to thrive and you know, be safe, we're going to need everyone to be marked and identified. All right, on our system, man. Okay. So there's another one I had. All right. Mind reading chip that can be fitted within minutes could transform the lives of many millions. All right. And what did Musk say? He wants, all right, before 2030, he wants millions of people to have this technology. Okay. A doctor who played a vital role in creating the micro C-hip that can translate brain signals into actions has made a bold claim about this Stentrode device, suggesting it can assist approximately 100 million individuals. So they're moving forward with this, man. Neurologist, which neurology deals with your neurological, your brain, right? Tom Oxley, at the helm of the startup Synchron, believes his invention has the potential to transform the lives of those who lack the use of their arms. So again, okay, all of these people at the forefront of this technology are presenting it as something that will help humanity. Okay, but we all know the end goal. Okay. And as you can see, it's not just Elon Musk. Okay. So, I mean, you can look up, it says they can go online and do their shopping and banking, communicate with their loved ones. The technology not only empowers patients to reconnect with and communicate with their loved ones when injuries or diseases have limited their ability to do so, but it also integrates seamless with smart devices. Okay, you have a smart nigga. Okay, a upgraded nigga. Okay. Earlier this year, a patient with ALS managed to operate an Amazon Alexa device using this tech. The patient, 64-year-old Mark, shared his the irony, shared his enthusiasm about the system, stating the integration with smart technology and my BCI is something I'm really excited about. So, off the back of all of this, all right, will eventually come, you know, the tyranny they need. Okay, and they've already presented this as something to help. Okay, and in the near future, okay, this will be, all right, a mandate. You know, something you're gonna have, you know, whether in your head or your hand, pursuant to what John the Revelator saw. Okay, so all of these miracles, all of these enchantments, you know, all of this confusion, all right, is eventually going to be stopped by Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Let's see what he finishes off with here.
Because our whole lives have been a lie. We've been taught nothing but lies. All the history of the world is a lie. They've wasted years and years of valuable time in our lives, putting us in the institutions where we haven't learned things and never learned things that were of use, really. Nobody can say, you know, throughout schooling and high school that they learned of anything of value. Now, if you went to a trade school in college, you probably learned something. But if you went to a university where you took communications or business, you learned nothing of use. Shut the grid off. And what does your business degree do for you? Nothing. What is your communications degree? Nothing. Did they teach you a trade? No. Would you know how to find water? No. And they did that by design. They dumbed us down to the point where we got to an age in our 20s where we all started looking around and we're like, wait a minute, now what? Right? And our brains have just absorbed so many lies and so much garbage, which makes it almost impossible to wake people up. And that's why it's such a struggle to pull people out of what they're in, because that's living in the matrix, living in a lie, a simulated reality. Right? So here we are with back to the Vatican opening up the portals, right? You can see the creepy ritual that was done at the Vatican, which they do every year. You see the 5 points where the portals are open, making that seal of Satan, that sigil of Lucifer, right? And then we have St. Peter's Basilica, which was one of the ones that was open, that has even a tomb of Lucifer underneath the altar underground, which of course is the basilica itself has the crest, which features the 3 Bs, which is the 666 with the hexagon. While at the same time, those things are happening where they're talking about portals, right? 2 brothers find magic at the Large Hadron Collider. What are they trying to do? They're literally trying to open up portals. And now they're even telling you that this magic has something to do with quantum computing, which all these big tech guys, when they talk in all these terms that most people don't understand, they seem to keep mentioning the word demons. These little demons, right? Musk mentions demons, Gordy Rose mentions demons, while they're talking about chips, while they're talking about things that you're not supposed to understand. Well, it's very easy to understand. They're just trying to make it so that you don't, so that they can continue moving forward with what they're planning on doing, which is the lifting of the veil. I thank everybody for being.
All right, and see, there's a little bit more on this one, and we'll close it out.
I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and basically what Douglas Adams was saying is that we don't really know what the right questions are to ask. Like in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Earth, it turns out, is a big computer and its goal is to answer the question, what's the meaning of life? And
Earth is kind of a computer, which is going to answer us the meaning of life, is what he says. So we're going to figure out what the meaning of life is by figuring out what Earth is. I mean, it kind of has a point in a way, I guess. I guess we have already been warned.
It comes up with the answer 42.
Mm-hmm.
In that book, which is really sort of a book about, it's an existential philosophy book disguised as humor. They come to the conclusion that no, the real problem is trying to formulate the question. And to really have the right question, you need a much bigger computer than Earth.
Which is why I think we've recently just discovered something called as the quantum computer, which gives you like basically all the answers you need in the world. Let's say you want to answer on how to make KFC chicken. You don't know the recipe and you want to create some new kind of a recipe, and then you ask the quantum computer on how this is possible. So what the quantum computer is going to do is that it's basically going to go ahead and search all the possible molecules and chemical reactions and all the stuff that exists in the world, and it's going to come out with a solution with a 100% accuracy as to what you're asking for. And that's crazy. I never knew that technology like this is even possible, but now, just a couple of weeks ago, they have found out this new quantum computer, and they also figured out that if quantum computing is possible, this also means that there are different dimensional worlds that exist, like a multiverse or something like that. It's just crazy stuff, you know, these people are just talking about, scientists and researchers. We never know, man, what kind of weird shit they're after. But yeah, Elon Musk is one of them. It seems like this dude is trying out some crazy things that most probably humans should stay away from.
So maybe like one way, I think, way of characterizing this would be to say, the universe is the answer.
He's super nervous.
What is the question?
When he speaks.
Or what are the questions? The more we can expand the scope and scale of consciousness, the better we can understand what questions to ask about
I don't think so.
The universe.
I think the Bible has all the answers.
The more we can expand consciousness, we become a multi-planet species, ultimately a multicellular species.
You see, that's the aim of Elon Musk, right? He wants people to become multi-planetary species. That's the #1 goal, which is he wants to get out of Earth for some reason. Nobody knows why. We have already too many problems on Earth. Rather than, you know, fixing all of those problems, being a multi-billionaire, the first thing that he wants to do is get out of Earth. And the second thing he mentions is that he wants humans to be a multi-stellar species, which means that we can hop in from one planet to another planet, like probably like how you travel on flights from one country to another. So he basically wants to travel in rockets from Moon to Earth to Mars to probably who knows whatever planet that is. So he wants to travel to stars and do all kinds of crazy stuff. To be honest, that's very ambitious goals to have, but then I don't think it's really necessary.
We have a chance of figuring out what the hell's going on.
I mean, yeah, that we surely do.
So, and this is why I think we should have more humans and more digital, both biological and digital consciousness.
Oh my God! Here,
biological and digital consciousness. I wanted to stop this, but listening to this is like I just want to play it. So.
Here we go. This is what he's saying. He says that we need to have more biological and digital consciousness. He's talking about AI, and he also thinks that, you know, consciousness is something that is basically our soul. So according to him, according to science, we are our consciousness, and that's exactly what the Bible says as well. And in other terms, it's basically known as the soul of a person. So I never knew that you could actually trap a soul in a chip until now, because I always thought that this was some sort of a technology which is never possible. But it seems like it is.
So the Lord has given them power on the left-hand side, you know, to get to certain, you know, points, but it's a limit to this this madness.
Possible because there is AI which is being created. It's an artificial technology in the computers. It's digital artificial technology. They kind of just scan our neurons and all the, you know, consciousness that we have in our mind and then just transfer it in a chip and then put that into some sort of a digital device. So does that mean that our consciousness is going to live in there? It's not like a copy pasting. It's more like a cut pasting. So you're removing it from here and then transferring it over there so you can live on another body. That's freaking crazy, dude.
And why we should become a multi-planet species and a multi-cell species is so that we can understand the nature of the universe. In order for that to occur, then we have to make sure that things are good on Earth. You know, on Earth to
exactly
disappear. So sustainable energy is important for ensuring the
long-term viability
of Earth.
Yep, the climate thing. So these devils are crazy, man. You mean to tell me people with this mindset don't need to be in chains?
And making life multiplanetary is important for extending consciousness, and ultimately we want to go and visit other star systems.
I don't know why he wants to keep extending the consciousness, man. I don't understand this process. This is something the Bible warns us that the Antichrist would do, and it also says that you're not supposed to.
Where does it say the Antichrist would do that?
You take the mark of the beast. And the people that are in rule, basically Antichrist, who is actually ruling the world, he's going to force people in order to take this stuff. And you can't really trade or, you know, get any food from supermarkets, so you have to make payments using this stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen this video. Apparently there's like a microchip, which can be put inside your hand and you can basically scan the stuff and it's going to be operational, pretty much like how your debit cards or credit cards has the tap feature, where you can simply just tap and all the data is going to be transferred. And there's also a technology which is being invented on the new iPhones. So this stuff is actually possible on humans as well.
Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there.
Wow, look at this stuff. Bionic banking, credit card chips inserted in hands.
Just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah. Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in
Look at that stuff. So if you scan his hand, I think you're
His
possibly
hand?
going to see like a grain of rice over here. There we
is a
go.
microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all in chips. So I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to it.
And this is where all stores are going. They allowed the smash and grab. They allowed everything to get crazy. All right. And this is going to be the new wave. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to need to stand in line. Okay. But your way to get, access to, buying and selling, you're going to have that chip.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is like a really cool technology and all that stuff. Imagine you have all of your debit card or credit card information and someone just cuts your arm off and then takes it and scans it as much as they want. I mean, they could do that with the credit cards as well, but it's not something that's happening all around the world. But still, you still have a very high risk of losing your hand, I guess. And this whole technology, it's apparently also being used by many people in certain companies in the United States.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with
this stuff.
new technology.
This is how they insert
I
it.
thought it would be fun, right?
The process is
Fun?
simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and
Okay.
in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is
Oh,
complete.
boy.
As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
So you don't even feel pain.
even in this nation of early adopt chipped.
Damn, dude, that's dangerous, man. This is exactly what the Bible says. Every single thing, every single prophecy that's been mentioned in the Bible is actually coming true. And now Elon Musk says that it is possible for our consciousness to be shifted from one place to another because he has this new brain implant, chipset that he's working on. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you one of those guys who, in the future, if this thing becomes a mandatory stuff, and if Antichrist comes up and he asks you to, go ahead and put the Neuralink, would you actually do it? Would you volunteer in order to do it? Or will you actually reject it, even if it means that you cannot live anymore? Because this is one of the most craziest things that I've ever seen. And it seems like the mark of the beast is officially coming, and it's coming very soon, which means that every single prophecies in the Bible has already got a check mark done. And now it seems like this is the final destination.
There's more prophecies, the civil unrest, world, the sea hip, Armageddon, the coming of the Lord. All right. So leave the Bible teaching up to us, but good job in bringing out the information. All right. But here we are. We are here. Shalom.